Yeah, so who knew there was intermissions in less than an hour podcast? But that's what we have. It
Oh,
wouldn't be our show if it wasn't technical difficulty, especially right out the gate. I'm gonna
I hope
blame
y'all
my
took that toilet break.
yeah,
I
for
hope
real. I'm
y'all
gonna
took
blame
a toilet break.
my new cable server. I got this Cox shit now too, so we'll see.
Oh, well, I got CenturyLink, and it's just as bad as Cox. So yeah,
Yeah, man. So
just stand
okay,
by, folks. This will be a repeat.
yeah, we in there. So, I mean, we spoke. I can't remember my last thought, man. But basically, what we was just stating, about this whole situation is, you know, I just feel like, in both situations, the reasonings behind what happened were definitely not justified. Were definitely not something that had any kind of value. And yet, someone, in this case, the sheriff or whoever spoke on the behalf of the Atlanta shooter, was just stating very, very loosely that that individual had a rough day, and basically, somebody who's not really, I guess, affected by the outcomes of that shooting may be
Yeah,
able to like just pass that off and not really take it to heart. But individuals that are definitely affected by it are looking at that like, come on, man, you got to have better bedside manner than that. Like, there's something wrong with that, and this shit has been normalized. And we've talked about this before, not always trying to point the finger, man, but I'm sorry, man. In a lot of these, not a lot, but most, nearly
yeah,
all of these mass shootings, they don't look like me or P, you
no,
know? And so maybe that's where the normalization has come, and they try, and we say this all the time, when someone's embarrassed or someone can't cover the truth enough, they try to downplay the story, and you can't downplay killing, because what they
no,
will do is highlight every error I made. If I smoked a little weed or I did something like that that had nothing really detrimental behind it, and I'm involved in something, they're gonna highlight that I was a drug user. They're
they're
gonna
gonna paint you in the worst possible light.
highlight,
That's just how it works.
and they have
You
yet to.
know.
I have not seen, and I'm saying it loosely again because I can't recall them. It's been so many. But when have they painted any of these guys in their truth? That they're
No.
killers, they're
Yeah.
murderers. I don't give
Yeah.
a shit who they were before they pulled the
No.
trigger. This is who they are, murderers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time they are normalized, they are, God fearing men who have families and loved ones and mothers and fathers and all of these things, and something just went wrong. They're not called animals. They're not called, um, you know, criminals, and nothing, none of that. They, I think it boils down to the people that are controlling the narrative look exactly like the people that are controlling that trigger.
You say that, and as we get out of the flash, I kind of want to, throw something out there. It's easy to classify the vision of what a thug looks like. There's this image of what that looks like, whether that's wearing a hat a certain way, a bandana,
Yeah,
sagging your pants, too big clothes, whatever the hell. There's a depiction of what thug is, and then that becomes
right.
a noun, like it's a thing. That's a thug, right? Or a verb, or however you want to use it. So my my question becomes, what's the image of mass shooter? What's the no kidding like title for him, where you could just, because that's what they come out to say when it comes to black people. They'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, and this is the guy that had, gang ties, he was a thug, and they always show this fucked up ass mug.
drug user. Yeah, they
You
find
know,
it. They
like,
find the worst picture possible.
but I'm saying,
Uh,
like, what is the call for? What is the image? What is the look of
yeah,
mass shooter? Why
yeah.
can't you put that out there? Why are
What's
we
their
not?
narrative?
Yeah,
What's the narrative and the visual of a mass shooter?
exactly.
More often than not, he's an angry white man between the age of 18 and 45.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
guess, man. All right.
so in Virginia Beach, 10 injured and 2 killed. Apparently, an altercation broke out, and everybody pulled guns and just started shooting.
Yeah, we call that it's one of my favorite episodes. It's not funny for what they're trying to portray, but it's funny because of how they do it. But on the Boondocks, when they talk about a nigga moment, that's what that
Hmm.
situation with everybody.
Exactly.
Easy
Yeah.
thing. It's like, and I'm not trying to make light of it, man, but that's where we are in this country, man. People are really just acting on impulse, man. There, this it I didn't live through the 60s. I didn't see the civil rights movement. Definitely didn't. Live during emancipation, of course. So I have no idea what tensions were in those different eras.
Yeah.
But in my lifetime, almost 40 years, this is the most tension I can remember, man. Like, and it's weird. I'm not trying to sound naive again. I have not necessarily felt it 100% towards me,
Right.
but, I think that sometimes I'm shielded by the protection of the uniform, even when I
Right.
don't have it on. I almost
Yeah.
take it as if people know that I'm in the military, and a lot of times, what I'm saying, maybe that gives me immunity. But in the truth of the matter is, when I have to really humble myself and break it down, I never know who I'm gonna run up against. I never know
Yeah.
what is the next situation that might involve my life, my family's life, because this shit is just
Hmm.
becoming so fucking constant. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we can do whatever the fuck we want to do. Right. Like, that's how I took what happened on January 6th. Though we already talked about that in a different show. As you
Yeah.
have time to reflect, even in the military now, like I had to go to training on Friday. They call it extremism training, where we kind of talk about, noticing these things and, people who tweet certain things or put certain things out there, like how do you look at that, and when the military starts to have these conversations, it's a big thing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's wild, man, because people are really, it's one thing, we all got freedom of speech, that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, but people really don't give a fuck about freedom of action either. They just do what the fuck they
Yeah.
want to. Speech and
Right.
action way different. Say what you want
Well,
to say, feel how you want to feel, but actually going out and be like, yeah, fuck it, let's take over the Capitol. Fuck this
all
shit.
that shit's been normalized, and we
Yeah,
watched it become normalized
right.
for 4 years. And when I was reading something today about how we're slowly creeping into authoritarianism,
Oh shit.
where the rule of law of one, you
Yeah.
know, and the people that they are in control of, uh, they limit their voting rights and their ability to, they limit their freedoms.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're creeping closer and closer to it. And again, we're going to touch on that in the main topic with the things that we've seen come to fruition in the last few
Absolutely.
days. Namely the changes to the Georgia voting laws.
Yeah.
So we'll touch on those in a few minutes. But let's transition
News. Let's just go
to
news.
news, man. Let's go to news.
Let's take a moment to breathe and come back from our technical difficulties and all that other shit, and then we'll get back into the real, man. But yeah, let's let's talk about the news, man. So a lot of things I've been hearing about the situation with our boy Derek Jackson,
Yeah.
and a lot of people saying, as black people, we can't wait to kick a man while he's down. Well,
Well,
I
goddamn.
disagree. I disagree in this situation. And the reason why I do that, because I don't feel like we're kicking him when he's down. Now, some of the shit is just purely funny, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think we're kicking him when he's down, because I feel like when you bring certain attention to yourself, you kind of set yourself up for these situations, right? And for the longest, this has been known as a relationship guru who has
Hmm.
talked and said all kind of things about what's right and what's not right, and how you should treat, your woman, and how you should carry yourself as a man, and all this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have your whole own shit going on, and a lot of people have lived their, quote unquote life and done things they're not proud of. And so in that right, I'm no different than him. I've done things that I'm not proud of. But at the
Right.
same time, I don't sit here and walk on this fucking money grabbing, platform in which people are actually, reaching out to me for a relationship advice, and I'm feeding off of that shit. and
Yeah.
trying to make true, what I know is not even true in my own situation. So, bro, at some point, the pie is gonna be on your face, and here it
Oh
is.
my God.
And he's making it
Hey.
worse by trying to get in front of it, forcing his lady. I don't give a fuck how this looks. To me, this looks like she's forced to be next to him, gripping the shit out of her hand.
Yeah.
And now he wants to have a come to Jesus moment and talk about this together. Nah, bro, this is your situation. Men that's been in trouble with their women, that's your situation, bro.
Yeah.
This didn't involve her. You didn't need to put her on there.
Yep.
Like her, you needed to come from your own place of reason and talk to your fans or your viewers or the people who fucking come to you for advice, not fucking hold her hostage and make her feel like she needed to be there as you try to fix your ship, the damage control type thing. So again,
Yeah.
I've laughed at a lot of shit. A lot of people doing some parodies on this shit.
Oh my God. These parodies have been great.
The parodies have been amazing.
The parodies
But
have been great.
I don't feel like I was shitting on the dude. I just feel like, man, you
No.
got to stay in your own lane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stay in your fucking lane. Like first it was Steve Harvey, right? He tried to give women the insider on what men are thinking and how not to get, blindsided. Then it was that goofy shit. The black men don't cheat. And though I call it goofy because these are just dumbass statements.
It's goofy. It's goofy.
Don't say shit like that. I mean, people do what they do, and I'm not trying to cover for anybody, but that's just not a hashtag to follow.
Dude, cheating is universal. It has no color. It has no gender.
Yeah, man. It's wild. The situations that have arisen, I guess that's how you say it, from this is wild, man, because now they saying that Buddy, the other cat, what's his name, Kevin Samuels, they're saying that Buddy needs to call Kevin Samuels and let him have the moment to talk. Boy, Kevin would go bananas on there. And again, maybe Kevin got his own fucking other shit that he's doing and whatever too. I don't know. It ain't no business.
All the shit that's done in the dark's gonna come to the light, man.
It does.
And for me, don't sit on your high chair, on your mountaintop, throwing stones at people, man. You're gonna slide off that shit. It may be a lofty perch, but that shit is not solid. And we're seeing that because he fell from grace quick.
Yeah, man. See, folks is out here cutting up on the on the whatchamacallit on the comments. I'll throw a comment up here. My sis, dark skinned brothers different. I think she's saying definitely took an L with this clown. Look, hey man, I'm not going to start talking about dark and light skin, but that's always a thing in our community.
What up, sis?
Yeah, but look at Clink out here acting up too. He said, "Don't forget to get his book on how to heal together." Yeah, by squeezing the shit out of your wife's hand, make her look home and talking over her the whole time. That's basically what he did. Talk over or force her to speak. Like, I'm giving you my cue by looking at you like it's your time to say something.
This shit did not help him at all. In my opinion, he, like you said, he held her hostage sitting there. She can't get a word in edgewise. And I'm quite sure he probably coached her on what she needed to say.
Exactly.
Yo, this pays the mortgage.
Yeah,
you better act right.
But and again, I'm not trying to make light of the situation. There's been times when I have not been in good graces, but my point is that's your time as a man to get to the points where you need to be. Do it privately, however you do it with your significant other, and not try to sit here and worry about what the masses think. At the end of the day, people are gonna judge you anyway.
Yeah.
Cover your ground where it counts most, and that's inside your home. But see, again, he's trying to damage control, get in front of it, not make himself look as bad as it really looks. And he goes and does something like this, and I'm like, bro, this
makes him look worse.
This makes him look worse. This is way worse, man. So I just found that shit was goofy as hell to me. So
it was goofy, and that's why it's the shit's news because it's goofy. He dragged her into this shit. She didn't even need to be involved in it. Yo, he could have just set his ass right there. The same way he sits there and he gives advice about how fucked up man this, fucked up man that. You know what? Hey, guess what? I'm a fucked up man too. That's all he had to do.
Yeah, I'm in the brood, boys.
I'm right in the dirt with you fellas.
Yeah.
My shit been found out. I can't talk shit about y'all no more. That's all they had to say.
I don't know, bro. So that is what it is. That's the news. Old Derek Jackson, the relationship guru, and got himself into some shit. And Now he trying to get himself out of it, man. So good luck, bro. Good luck.
Good fucking luck.
All right, bro. Let's get into Ask the
Oh my
Doctor.
God, man.
Now,
This is kind
this
of
is wild too.
painful.
This is
This is
really wild, man. So for me, P, I gotta pose the question, right?
all
And we
right.
kind of
Talk
seen
to
a
me.
little bit of this last year, okay? So in the Acid Doctor, we're talking about damn, I can't even talk. Deshaun Watson and his situation that's going on, and what I immediately started to think about. Remember last year when AB
Yeah.
started cutting up a little bit, stating that he wanted out of LA, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
out of Vegas before he even, took to the field. Really, he had some weird
Right.
situation with his feet. Basically, he realized, oh shit, I signed this contract and this ain't where I want to be.
Right.
So he
Right.
goes back and forth, the GM and the coach and the whole organization, and then all of a sudden, right, all of a fucking sudden, the situation arises with some was it domestic violence or
Domestic
maybe
violence, where you had
something.
like the gummies of whatever. He was throwing a girl out the house. Video
Yeah.
footage of that. Him
And
and his in the moving situation.
yeah. And
Now,
so and then people were, it seemed like there were some people calling for him, talking about some shit that happened, before that either was buried or,
yeah,
it came to light, but that shit was coming back up. And so it
right,
got me to thinking, like, Deshaun Watson has made it very clear, very fucking clear that he
yeah,
wants out of Houston.
mm-hmm.
And we've been going back and forth. Basically, offseason just really started a week ago with free agency, all that. But he's been saying this
Yeah,
shit at the end of the year. And then all of a sudden, bro, not one. There was not even a single fucking allegation nowhere. Nowhere
yeah.
reported any fucking
Hold
way.
on. He look. You had J.J. Watt, who is like the king of
Yeah,
Texas. And then you have Deshaun Watson, who's the prince of Texas, can
yeah,
do no wrong, do everything for the community. They're
yeah.
active, they're involved. I want out.
And then all of a sudden, like, I mean,
Yeah.
a
The
run on, bro.
floodgates open. Man,
So,
every
yeah.
masseuse on Instagram, 16 different cases. 16.
So
Like, come on.
here's what's crazy too when you think about it.
Yeah.
How in the hell, if you read some of these, I guess these what do you call it, transcripts,
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
women are even admitting. Now, get this. This is when I have to, kind of put the eyebrow up, and I'm bringing it to the doctor. Some of these women are actually admitting that they're not even a masseuse. They had never. Some
Yeah.
of them said, "I'd never given a massage before." What? So, when you start looking at how this stuff is coming out, first I come out of thin air. Then it's like, oh, he did all this to these people giving them massages. But then it's like, oh, these people never give him massages at all. How do you believe
Yeah.
this? And I'm not trying to
And
go ahead, B.
and another part of the transcripts that the lawyer for all of these women, one of his first the first things he published on social media was a DM exchange. And Deshaun Watson, hey, he asked, "Are you comfortable with the growing and the glute area?" The woman says yes. So he's an athlete. I mean, top tier athlete,
Yep.
and his legs are a huge part of his game. Your
Yep.
glutes matter, and your growing area matters in how you move with your lower body. Any athlete knows that. That was consent. She said yes. That and here's another one. This isn't even a fucking reach.
I like that, Marie. I like that. But keep on
I
going with
like
what you
that.
started up to.
Now, here's another part of this whole thing. Now, how long have we been in the Me Too movement? 3-4 years now.
Okay. Okay.
If these things happened, why didn't they come forward immediately? Now, I'm not saying that they didn't happen. I'm playing devil's advocate just like you here. We're in the Me Too movement. Women have a voice. Women have a platform to lay all of these allegations out immediately. Have a voice, have a platform, so they can be addressed immediately. Now, I mean, I'm left to question. One, the lawyer Busby has a connection to the Texans. Not a job or anything, but he knows their owner.
Yep.
So it's kind of suspect to me.
Man,
It is. Now,
the wave is it's just, bro. It'd be one thing if it was 1, 2, 3,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm like, come on, man. Like I say something right, and I'm putting myself in a woman's shoes, and then all of a sudden, here comes the next one. Here comes the next one. It to the point is like, was it damn? Was it one a day each for every day of the month? Like
man.
how many can actually come out? And I'm not saying. Let me first put this out here. And, I am a husband. Of course, I'm a son. So I got a mother. I have a daughter. Aunts, sisters, every fucking body. So when it comes to this is very serious shit. I'm not gonna ever take light to a woman's, her truth. If this happened
Right.
to her, absolutely, I don't give a shit who you are. There is a price to pay. But what I'm saying is, this just looks so weird and wild to me that if
Now,
this man is playing at a high level, winning for Houston, ain't nobody talking about it. This
now
all
keep
this
this
shit
in mind too.
at the end of the
These
season.
are civil suits. These are not criminal suits. These are
Yeah,
these are civil suits.
it was
These
not
are I
not
want money out of your pocket. I
exactly,
want money out of your pocket.
exactly.
Not I'm taking you to court and I want them charging you with criminal offenses. Not
Do we
that.
believe it was a nudge? Do we
I
believe that
want yeah.
somebody's trying to make them look bad? Somebody's trying to, get back at them for wanting to be out of Houston. I mean, I don't know.
And really, here's the question that everybody needs to entertain. What is the best thing, the most effective way to ruin an athlete's good name?
This type of shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
scandal.
A
Scandal.
scandal. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And however it's rectified, he can't come back from this.
at all,
That's the sad part.
at all. And what's wild, man, like, and I don't even know. I don't know to what point can things actually happen or not happen. But I don't want to put, one's more serious than the other or this, that, or the vice versa, or whatever. But I kind of think
Hmm.
about like the whole situation with Aaron Hernandez. Like
Yeah.
once he became a murderer and was on trial, at that point, I think it was actually in the air. Like, could the Patriots void his contract? Right.
Yeah.
And so again, and maybe I'm super reaching here. And if I am, I'll go ahead and I'll stay in my lane. But I gotta say it. Perhaps maybe like the Texans, like, all right, well, we just gave him all this fucking money. He don't want to be here. Let's fuck him
Hmm.
over. And maybe
Yeah.
we can end up voiding his shit. If
And that's a reach. It's a good comparison because it's not about the allegations.
right.
It's about the power that these NFL teams have and how they wield that power.
Oh, fuck yeah. Them 32 owners, them
Yeah.
motherfuckers are elite.
And this is just one of those cases because
Yeah.
I'm quite sure he has a clause in there for what do you call it? It has a behavior clause.
Yeah.
It's probably not named that, but I'm quite sure he has something to that effect in his contract. If you slip here, we can void this shit. And it's just a matter of time. And they can't void it unless he's been found guilty.
Right.
They
And
can't void it on perception.
bruh, and
So
it's tough, man, because I don't know what this man is going through. Again, I'm not sitting here saying he's 100%, innocent, but the
yeah,
country is the way our country's run. You're innocent to proven guilty, right? And it's
yeah.
just really ironic. Like at some point, and my sis brings up something. Let me throw this up too. It kind of like with the Bill Cosby situation, right? There's one,
Hmm.
there's two, and before you blink, there's too many to even count. And I'm
Yeah.
like, is there's like some kind of secret meeting where I'm representing this woman, okay, and so I reach out to the person representing this woman, and before you know it, everybody who's representing everybody, we done brought all the ladies together to kind of corroborate the story and say, all right, boom,
Yeah.
okay, here's how it happened to you, here's how it happened to me. We need to get these things up. And I hate that I'm saying it like this because I'm not trying to downplay the situation if the shit
Right.
is absolutely true, but it's just weird how it looks. He's in the middle of a
If
fucking battle with his squad, and all of a sudden
yeah,
they like, all right, well, fuck it. You want to keep making PR waves and saying what you're not going to do for the Houston Texans?
look,
Unleash the hounds.
I
You know?
will, I will. This is my stance on this. I call a greater amount of bullshit. And here's why I call a greater amount of bullshit. Because there's 16 civil, I want money out of your pocket cases. They are not criminal cases. If they were criminal cases, guess what? I'll be on the train. He did some shit wrong. He did something wrong.
Mhm.
But to me, if they are civil cases, it's perception. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna massage this man. You're gonna massage his glutes and his groin. You're gonna do all these things. He has to expose himself to you if you're gonna massage these areas. And then after the fact, you take offense, and now you want money out of his pocket. Again, if this was civil, if this was criminal, excuse me, if this was criminal, go for it.
Right.
You want money out of his pocket. That's an easy thing to do in this country.
And I think too, you know, and how that works, I believe Houston also wins from that, because then it's like defamation of his character, you
Yeah,
know. So
yeah,
maybe it makes
yeah.
it easier for them to
It's
avoid out of whatever
as
they
they
got
say,
to deal
he's
with.
tarnished the shield.
Yeah. And it fucks up his future going forward. And it's
Yeah.
like, all right, well, you didn't want to play for us. We're gonna make it difficult for you to play for anybody. And we didn't see this, you know,
Hmm.
like Michael Vick did get a second chance after,
Yeah.
you know, his situation in jail. But I mean, look at Colin Kaepernick, completely different situation. But
Yeah.
after you've been marred as a certain person, he was looked at as anti-American. Can't have him
Yeah.
on the football field. Look at this guy who's you know, I'm saying it loosely, but okay, now Deshaun Watson, he's a misogynist, he's a this, he's a that, he's a blah blah blah. Yeah, we don't want him on the football field no more. He's a black eye, he's a bad image. This is the, you
Yeah.
know, we all know every quarterback assumes the role of leader. Well, look
Yeah.
at the leader you're getting. Look what he done to
Hmm.
these women. Look how he treats women, bro. Nobody, though he is a great football player, a lot of people ain't gonna fall on that sword. I'm like, well, shit, you right. Maybe I'll just draft one.
Yeah.
And that's what's fucked up, because the kid is still young. The boy only
Yeah.
like 25 years old,
26. 26 years old.
and
26.
mountain of potential, mountain of potential. And this is what they might potentially do to him, man. And that's so fucked up, because he didn't want to
Yeah.
be there. Yeah, bro.
Civil versus criminal. I
Yeah,
will leave it at that. Criminal
exactly.
versus civil. You want money out of his pocket. It's
Yep.
not to That's not to say that they aren't um as
That's,
important,
yeah.
but to me it loses credibility when, if you feel he's wronged you, you
Mhm.
haven't taken him to criminal court. You're not trying to push for criminal charges. You
Yeah.
just want money out of his pocket. That speaks volumes to me.
It's wild. It's a wild take, man. But I just wanted to talk about. I mean, he is absolutely a rival of my Colts. I hate when we play
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson. I hate the Texans. But you know, as a man, black man in this country who's already facing so many, you know, difficult hardships, tough times, you know, I'm hoping, you know, I'm pulling for him that all this shit is just nonsense and not true.
yeah,
Hopefully, these people, you know, will get what's coming to them, and that's what usually happens, man. Like in situations when people are, you know, quote unquote, trying to blow the whistle or be that person that, you know, extort somebody, even when they are in the wrong and they found to be lies, if that's the case, like they don't really, you know, suffer much. They just had a moment. So I'm hoping that if this shit is all bullshit, I hope that I don't know what you can do, but I hope I
you can
don't
count
know,
us too.
you
You can count us
countersuit.
too.
but
Yeah,
you be like, man, like, but like you said, you're always, you know, even people that's been exonerated, right? Even
yeah,
people that's been exonerated, they still end up feeling the same heat that they felt when they
yeah,
were quote unquote guilty, right? And
yeah,
like, you know, and that's what becomes unfair about the situation, because this shit follows you every fucking where. You know, I go back to what happened to the, you know, the Central Park Five. It took them
yeah,
boys years to get exonerated, and they all did it on different, you know, different timelines. Some got out before others, so on and so forth. Then they even got compensation from the city years after it happened. But still, in a lot of people's eyes, those were the
they are
dudes that
guilty. Yeah,
murdered
yeah,
that woman in the park. And that's what's
yeah.
fucked up about this, you know?
And that's just that's the short ass attention span of American people, and limited shit, not just limited, almost no critical thinking that happens these days. It's just easy to fall in a comfortable place, and yeah, they're guilty.
Yeah. See, I like that,
I
Pat.
agree, Patrick. I agree.
I mean, and
I
that's the type
definitely agree.
I mean, because if you can't lie under oath, you know what I mean? And again, you talking criminal, civil, whatever the point. But when you raise your right hand and say this is the truth, and I swear to it and all this other shit, and you found lying, yeah, it should be something. You shouldn't just get to go home tomorrow like, well, that shit
Yeah,
happened. I shot my shot, tried to extort him, didn't work. Fuck it, No, man, like, because the
it's not
same
that
thing,
simple. It
it's
can't be
not,
that
bro.
simple. It cannot
We've
be.
we've seen so many other situations. Like, I think his name is Brian Banks. Did you ever watch that movie? Really good
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yes,
But yeah, like,
yes,
dude fought for his life, lost his career, went to jail
yeah.
the whole 9, and then basically the chick was like, "Yeah,
I lied.
yeah, I made a mistake." No, fuck that. No,
That's not
you
a
can't
mistake.
get that time back, bro.
Mistakes are conscious. All right, mistakes are not conscious.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's just funny that all of this just starts to add up. Like you said, one,
Yeah,
two. Before I even blinked, before that week was out, after the first one,
man.
it was already like 5, and I was like, "What the hell
Wow.
is going on?" Like everybody just
Yeah,
piling on. This is crazy to me. So now we're up to 16 in like 2
16.
weeks.
Yeah,
So I'm saying, bro, like at this rate, I'm like, he's talking about a person a day for every month. So 31, before you know it, we a blink and it'll be August and they'll be on 110 or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro?
it's
So
crazy. It's
they
crazy.
got to,
And again, I still fall in between civil and criminal.
yeah,
That's
that's
it. I will leave it right there. And you know, listeners, y'all can take it. Y'all can take either side. You decide how you feel about this, and you can share your comments either here. You can share your comments on our social media pages. Please, it's all up to you. This will be a continuous discussion because we're just in the early phases of this. The
yeah,
NFL season hasn't started yet, so there's going to be more to this, and it's front page or front back page news because sports is always on the back page of printed press, but every news outlet that's online is covering this. So more to follow on this. So yeah, you ready to move forward, bro?
yeah, man. Let's roll into our
All
last
right.
since we're running long after our, our technical
The
difficulty
status quo is uncomfortable. That's our topic of discussion this
conversation.
this evening. Conversations that we should be having.
Yeah, man.
Um, and we came up with it because of all the things that are happening. Uh, we can look at January 6th as one indication of such. And here's where I think that people really don't critically think. Um, when I say the status quo, when we say the status quo is uncomfortable, the power base in this country, rich
Absolutely.
white men. Okay, let's be honest here. Rich white men have controlled the narrative in this country for far too long. The landscape of America is changing. Okay, you look at minorities, the number of minorities in this country uh, is soon to surpass um, the majority, which is white people. We have a greater voice and we're starting to exercise, and we've seen this in the last election. And
And that's
there's
minorities as a whole, not just black people. It's
yeah,
minorities as a whole. Absolutely.
minorities as a whole
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
have started to exercise those voices, and what we see now is that status quo is very, very uncomfortable. So we see measures like the changes in the Georgia election process. These election laws have changed to limit what voters can do, mail-in ballots, the number of places where you can cast your vote, the number of ballot boxes that you can drop your votes off. Hell, you can't even take people that are waiting in line food and
Ooh,
water.
like, man, when I read that part,
Yeah,
I'm like, so what are you actually saying here? Like, you're going bold enough to say that you don't want people comfortable in the long ass lines that they had to
yeah,
deal with anyway.
yeah,
So now we're gonna make it, it's gonna be tough for them to even get a drink of water because we don't want them to be, actually partaking. Like,
yeah.
if that's not the most bullshit that I ever seen. I mean, and I'm pulling this from Rolling Stone.
I
Um,
got the same thing up. I got the same
yeah,
thing.
and yeah, man. So it's like, and then this is something we're not talking about either. How she was treated. Like
Yeah,
she
she's an
knocked
elected official,
she's an elected official. Um,
and all she wanted to do was
yep,
witness the signing. And in that office, it was
yep,
Governor Kemp and 6 other old white men.
yep. And they she knocked on the
And
door and they pulled
yeah,
her out. Just pulled
she's
her.
been charged with a felony.
Yeah. And so, here's something I have to think about, man. Like, and I'm not trying to compare, just for sake of comparison. But where the fuck, were Capitol Police and all that shit when they seen the staging of what was about to happen? Anybody's
Yeah,
been in any kind of confrontation, any kind of like melee, when shit's starting to get uncomfortable. People are getting a little bit
exactly.
louder, it's
Yeah,
getting a little bit more raucous, and yet y'all still sitting here, quote unquote, pushing back with a hand. Hey guys, settle down. But y'all want to treat this woman like this and put her on
yeah,
display. Oh, by the way, she just happens to be African American again. So it's okay to do this in this situation because this is the norm, right? So staying on track though with what was going on
yeah.
with that whole thing, like look at this shit, man. Like here what we got here.
Reduction in polling places over the last 10 years, increasing the amount of time voters, especially voters in most black precincts must wait in line to cast their ballots. If you
Yeah.
limit the ability for your opposition to vote,
Mm-hmm.
it limits how many votes they get. If you remove the possibility of them voting, it also limits the amount of votes that your opposition gets. See, this is the thing that really pisses me off. It's two things, really. One, the Republican Party has placed more emphasis on limiting how people can vote than try to appeal to a country you are not going to change. You're not going to, come on. This is a melting pot. It's always been a melting pot. You're not going
Right.
to change that.
Yep.
But instead of investing in people, you want to invest in limiting what people can do.
Yeah.
And that just builds resentment in people.
That's what happens. And it's always like the fix is in. We're talking
Yeah.
the Jim
Yeah.
Crow laws were before, like this is a version of that if you want to look at. I mean, think about what we're saying. Why would it be any kind of issue if it's just somebody being nice. If you're in line and you're waiting and representatives are coming out of the establishment and saying, "Hey, here's water. We know it's hot, cold, whatever the fuck it might be." Or here's, a little granola bar or whatever, because, you've been here for a while and it's still going to take a while. At what point is that wrong? I mean, that's human decency.
Yeah.
So why is that a problem? Because like you said, it then creates a situation where it's like, well, fuck. If I know I got to go out here and wade this line of 8-9 hours, I'm going to have to bring a backpack full of shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to go to
rolling up with a cooler like you're going to the strip club.
They said no line warming. So basically, I'm like, hey, hold my spot. I'm about to go to the bathroom. And even though it's my wife or my husband, whoever it might be, that's, you can't jump out of line to use it, that type of thing. And I'm just like you said, why even put, effort into shit like this? And why even feel like you're getting something done? Like, you really think this is what done you in this election? Somebody giving somebody a drink of water to go cast a vote? Like, no, what done you in is your man told you not to fucking vote when it comes to Georgia. Yeah. He told you don't go out there. It's all bullshit. Don't do it.
And that's so here's the other crazy part to this. Okay, the people like me and you, and I'll say middle class, lower class people that subscribe to this narrative, that subscribes to this bullshit. You're no different from anyone else that's struggling in this country. For you to think that you're on the same level as the status quo, it's a demonstration of your ignorance, because they look down on you. They don't look at you like an equal. I don't care what color you are.
Yep. I mean, and that's the hard facts, and people don't want to put themselves in that conversation because usually it's all about red and blue. It's all about party lines. When in reality, it's not. Like, there's a class of people. Me and Tanisha started watching the show last night, and it's called I can't remember. It's on Netflix, but it's about real estate agents that sell properties in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And you should have seen the way these individuals carry themselves, like the potential clients or the owners of the homes. These are $1 million homes. Some were upwards of $40 million or whatever, right?
Right.
Those people don't think like you and me. They are so much better, and using my air quotes, they're so much better than you and I that we don't even deserve to breathe the same air with them. Right.
Exactly.
They look at us in a certain way of whatever. So nobody gives a shit that I might be Republican. And of course they're Republican because whatever they try to protect their investments and money.
Need those tax breaks, bro.
That don't make us equal. That person don't give a fuck about you getting a stimulus of $1,400. They ain't getting one. They make way too much. What is $1,400 to somebody that got everything? Right. So man, people really have to start thinking about, and I hate to say it, but because we're so set up on these socioeconomic classes, since that's the way our country is going, people need to really understand where they fall. So you might look at me and I'm black and you white. You don't like me because I'm black, but you white. But you and I are more alike than your fellow red that you think is on your. I don't give a fuck about you.
No doubt.
Trust me when I tell you.
we've talked about race being the distraction. It's a great distraction. All right, it is. Race is a fucking amazing distraction from what's really going on. This class warfare shit is what's happening. You have the 1%. The 1% is getting richer and richer and richer and richer. They control everything. If you think that you fall in that area, you're fucking insane. You're crazy. They don't give a fuck about any of us. They only care about them, their power, and their money.
Man, and what's really scary about that is even when you're watching CNN or Fox or whoever you want to watch during elections, especially presidential elections, I don't think people really break down how upfront and how very forward, whoever is the broadcasters, the analysts are being when they say, President Trump or President Biden needs to win this portion, and they call it a whole name. They need to win, the black vote here. They need to win, the what you want to call it, the lower income, white vote here. They need to they really say this shit. And at that point, you need to realize, what are they actually talking about?
They are not talking about the person. They're not talking about the person.
They are talking about classes of people and how they live and how they're dispersed throughout the country. And they have absolutely given us a title. Don't get me wrong. Like, I guess I would be in, fuck it. I'll just take it easy on myself. I'm in the military class, whatever. I
would say we're somewhere in the lower middle class. We're in the lower middle class.
But even still, like, let's say this is metropolitan portions of the city. Right. And we're just, everyday black people trying to make it. They're going to tell you straight up front without saying these are broke ass black people. What they're going to say is a large number of the Democratic vote rests in these ethnic communities.
Yeah, these ethnic lower income areas.
And so they have to appeal to us because we're going to make or break this vote this time.
Yeah.
And that may change each election. But the moral of that story, the point of that is, if you can't tell how you've been classed, you're not paying attention. And once we get that vote and we win, high five, thanks. Okay, I'm in power. We're able to do what we want to do. And my agenda is not for you, actually. But thanks for voting for my team. That's what the is going on. And people are still pretending as if, like, when people would say very passionately that President Trump has done more for black people than any other president, I had no idea how the fuck somebody could be so blind and almost like insane, because I'm not sitting here and saying he didn't do anything, but let's not sit here and act like he actually did a lot of something. No. And don't use skewed stats and skewed numbers that you've read somewhere and think that applies to the truth. Bro, what you need to say is how he was direct in our face and let him know what it was. He was very direct in what it was. And he was very direct with every other minority, to include Hispanics and how they were treated at the border. We can talk about, what was going on with Haitians and how he treated, Puerto Ricans when they had their hurricane. Like, bro, are you missing this shit?
Asians of late,
Yeah. Were you missing all of this?
Paying attention. Yeah.
Come on,
not
man.
paying attention.
I don't know.
To the status quo, we serve a purpose. That's all. We serve a purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose is either we are here to help them stay in power, and
Yeah,
that's through sheer ignorance.
a
As
lot of
long as they keep us ignorant and we're distracted with other things, they can continue to do what they've been doing,
yeah, that's
and
true.
enriching themselves, getting wealthier by the second. We're in a pandemic, and I believe Jeff Bezos in the last year made $97 billion.
It almost as if he's seen it coming in 1990, whatever
Yeah,
whenever he started
yeah,
Amazon, as
you know,
e-commerce was going to be the way. But like, you tell? I mean, it's the same thing with war. And again, I don't want to start getting too crazy, but we all know for the longest, being in wars generates the
it's
economy.
profitable.
That's
It's
what it
profitable.
does.
Yeah,
And so you can't tell me that a pandemic like we are facing still was not something that Bezos was like, this is great. I mean, I
yeah,
don't want people
yeah,
dying. I'm sorry. But this is amazing. Motherfuckers can't go
yeah.
nowhere. They can't shop, and all they can do
They gotta use my
is
shit.
use
They
me.
gotta use my shit. They gotta
This is
use
amazing.
Amazon.
Oh my
And
God.
and and it's something that, all right, so how that falls with the status quo, he's doing anything and everything he can to keep his people from unionizing.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
He wants
yes.
to keep them people that work for him in his warehouse,
Yes.
working in them slave warehouses, making
Yes.
$13-14 an hour.
They look
Keep
great
them
on
where
the
they at so he can keep
big
his quadrillions.
100,000. They usually be something like 100,000
Yeah.
square feet. I mean, massive.
Yes, massive fucking warehouses.
But again,
You know,
people working assembly lines, they just boom, 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 pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down,
Yeah.
ship it, print it, whatever. And we talked about this, briefly in our group, as if $15 is a lot. I remember when times were different, $15 was a lot, but
Yeah.
$15 is not equal from state to state, region to region. If you're making $15 an hour in, let's say, Alabama, you're probably doing all right.
Right.
You making $15 an hour in where I am, Nevada, where you are, AZ, California.
Yeah, it's getting worse here, man.
Like, come on,
This shit's about to be California.
yeah, like you're not really scratching the surface with 15 funky ass dollars.
No,
So just to try to, it was wild that was pulled out of the stimulus this last round. That was one of the big things that they got out of there. Like, no, we're not going to federalize the change of the minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
To me, as you think about it, like, sure, Jeff Bezos is able to give a lot of jobs out, right? There's Amazon distro centers popping up every fucking where.
Man,
but we're not paying these people nothing. And and that's just the way of America, right? Like, we're just born in our mind that we're supposed to graduate high school at 18,
and go work
to college, and then work for 40 years.
Yeah, pretty much. And die. And die because we got the most expensive healthcare in the country, in the world, excuse me.
So
and most people working in those low-end jobs can't afford the healthcare.
And a lot of these, companies are not providing actual real healthcare for their people because the co-pays and shit that they have to come up with are
fucking nomical.
Yeah, so it's like I still can't afford the shit.
Funny story. And so I go see like my cardiologist, right? And right off top, you got to pay your $30 copay, even just to see her, right? And I'm like, damn, I don't like having to pay this $30 copay. Talk to a friend of mine. Talk to a friend of mine. She's like, well, my copay is $200. I was like, all right, I'll gladly pay my $30.
$30, yeah.
But where this makes the status quo uncomfortable is people are starting to figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going to exercise their vote, their ability to vote. They're going to exercise their voice, their platforms. People are figuring these things out, and they're demanding change.
I mean, a lot of times people have just allowed, and I'm guilty of this too. Being in the military in my younger days in military, the first 4 or 5 years, I didn't understand all the shit that I was actually truly responsible for, being accepting of, because I'm in the military, or just not paying attention to none of the, like local, like government situations, because guess what? I'm military, so I'm federal. So I might live in Ohio, for 2 years, but shit, in 2 years from now, I might live in Florida. Like, so I never really took it, into account of what's going on. And because I still held my voting back in Indiana, guess what? I'm not there. So I wasn't really contributing to any of that shit. And so as I wisened up, and I was like, well, you're not gonna be in this military shit all forever. I started paying a little bit more attention. I started paying attention on Ohio. And then when I got to Texas, me and Tanisha finally became residents of Texas, and Larry, fuck it. So we voted. And this year we actually voted on things that, were to Texas, not just, just to presidential. And so as I thought about that shit, I'm like, yeah, a lot of people just blindly just be like, whatever. Yeah, I'm voting all the way this way. I'm voting all the way straight party, whatever, and don't even really know what the issues are and how they may affect you. And that's what people are waking up to, man, because shit is getting tougher. This pandemic opened everybody's eyes. Everything that used to be like the truth changed. Oh, I got job security. Do you?
Do you really?
Yeah.
Think about it.
The pandemic showed a lot of people you don't have job security. And that's what got a lot of people. You take the military right now, motherfuckers is holding on for dear life. Like retention right now is probably going to it's going to be high because motherfuckers ain't trying to go out there and see like, oh, what's this like out here now, especially with no retirement. Like, a lot of people like, nah, bro, I'm going to ride this ship until I can't ride it no more.
Right here. Yeah, it's comfortable.
It scared them, man. And those are things that we have to wisen up to. We have to realize, like, okay, what is it that, let's take Georgia, for instance, what is it that Georgia's trying to actually stop? What did Georgia actually even deal with? They had a changing of the guard for the first time in like 40 years. The state going, blue from red. Going blue. And there's a lot of pride there. They elected. Losing 2 seats. So I'm sure there's a lot of pride there. And they like, look, this ain't the Southern way.
But they're not the only one. There's 40 other states that are trying to do the same type of shit.
Y'all turn blue.
Arizona's trying to do the same thing. Excuse me. Arizona, they got shit that they're trying to push through, through the local Senate. It's pretty much the same thing that Georgia is doing.
Yeah.
So anybody that's listening, you might want to see what's going on in your local government and what they're trying to do to hinder you from voting.
And you see, you know what's wild too? Again, I don't want to jump to a lot of conclusions or assumptions, but I can't help my mind but to think about it sometimes. And sometimes the wool gets pulled over your eyes because it becomes, people have been pushing for so long for something. Let's go ahead and legalize marijuana. You see a lot of states are doing that now. It's just and that'll shut a lot of people to fuck up, and they won't care about this other shit that's really going on. Give them their weed.
Throw them a bone.
Yeah, throw them a bone. Yeah. And then at that point, they'll get out the fucking way, and we'll be able to do this other shit. And we have to be better and smarter than that, right? Sure, get your weed on, right? Yeah. I don't think it should have never been something, and it's not cocaine or nothing like that. I mean, it's fucking earth. Cocaine is too, but you do that other shit to it that makes it bad. I don't know. Fuck it. Moral of the story is what I'm trying to say. Don't just get your weed and you're like, cool, I'm good now. Let me go sit on the couch and do whatever the fuck. Nah, it's more to it than that, because I feel like that's what happens. A lot more. Yeah. These TV shows and shit like this is fucking hilarious, bro. I'm gonna get out of here on this. This is fucking hilarious. My wife loves Legally Blonde, right? Both of them, right? Yeah. I had never seen the second one. So it just happened to be on TV and I started watching it. And exactly what I'm talking about was happening. Like, so she wanted some kind of fucking law to be passed that was against animal cruelty, right? Like, testing on animals and shit. But to kind of like offset her, she was basically like, all right, well, cool. You know what? We'll shut that one place down and then the bill will go away and you should be happy. And she was like, well, no, like, fuck that. I still want it to be a bill so that this doesn't happen again, not just my own personal situation. And that's where I'm coming from. Like, a lot of people get that, oh, they gave me something, or we finally got it passed, and they don't care.
It's a concession.
Yeah, exactly, man. So
it's but something that's temporary that ain't gonna last. Exactly. So we are. I don't know. People like shiny shit, man. If you see something shiny, you get enamored with it. But you're missing everything else. Yeah, this is all you're focusing on.
That's the whole point of it, right? That's to take your eyes off of this. Sleight of hand type thing. Yeah. Look at this, another state with another
record money.
Boom, another state just legalized marijuana. Boom, another state just did that. Yeah. Meanwhile, in the background, oh man, tax laws fucked up now. What happened to the tax law? Damn. Yeah. oh shit,
I was too busy over here on this joint, and I missed this.
Yeah, man.
You know,
folks always fucked up. Wait a minute, damn, what? I can't get water in line. This is bullshit. Like, I mean, come on,
exactly. Man. And man, they figured out a way. They put in this law that voters registrations can be unlimited, just challenged to an unlimited basis. So if I'm voting in Georgia and you like, nah, I don't know if that his registration is wrong, you can challenge my shit to no end, and basically my vote won't count.
Yeah, and that, I mean,
so even if you endure a 9-hour line where you can't piss and you can't get food, and you still vote, wait a minute, nah, we challenging that shit. You know, so at this point, something has to happen at the federal level. There has to be a federal Voting Rights Act that gets voted in the legislation to offset this one.
I'm with you, man.
You know,
all right, man. We didn't ran bad long.
Yeah. Well, we had a little intermission,
like a 5-minute intermission.
But yeah, folks, we these were some things that were happening in recent, within the last few weeks that we really wanted to touch on. We might have some light content for you next week. We just never know. So thank you for returning with us. Thank you for being patient while we went through another transition. You know how the military is. Most people that listen to us are in the military, have been in the military. Moves are moves, and we can't just like pick up the show and keep it mobile and going while the moves are happening. So we appreciate your patience.
Yeah, man. I want to shout out my sis today. There's a lot of comments coming in, but I think she was kind of MVP, man. I just seen this one. She said the view looks great. Like when an Android user switches over to iPhone. We appreciate that, sis. That's dope.
That's my girl, man.
Yeah,
we need
man.
to have her back on the show.
We will. We're gonna get her squared away. And one thing I did want to say before we get out of here, this is my absolute last thing to talk about. Listen, man. Leave Joe the fuck alone, right? Joe done had a rough time. Joe done tripped up.
That ain't me. That ain't me.
I know, it ain't you. I'm just putting it out there to the masses. Leave Joe alone. We know Joe is the oldest elected president, but he done fell up the steps getting onto Air Force One. He stumbled and struggled and lost train of thought at different times during his speech the other day.
Yeah.
Voice has been on his head, man. They call him Sleepy Joe and all this. And I mean, he has a stuttering issue. And the man is, 70-something years old. Everybody talks about early stages of Alzheimer's and all that other stuff. This man is our president, right? Like, I did not like President Trump, but because I'm military, I respected him, right? I reserved my comments as best I could. But those are two different human beings in how they were running the country. This man only been
less than 100 days. It's been less than 100 days.
So he's catching more heat than the man that's been in there for 4 years who refused to like do the normal natural shit and shake the man's hand and welcome him to the White House. Just their normal turnover. He basically neglected to do all of that.
Thumbed his nose up at it.
Child for the last 2 months. He just acted like a child. So let's as a collective, let's just leave Joe alone.
Let Joe do Joe. Let Joe do Joe. Joe doing his job, man.
He
can forget a sentence and still sound twice as intelligent as the previous guy. He can stutter and still be more intelligent than the previous guy.
I do get embarrassed for folks, even when they're not in my presence. Like I can't watch American Idol in the beginning when they're doing all that. Like people who can't.
Yeah, man, that's.
So when Joe give it a speech or some shit, bro, I'm kind of cringing because I'm like, oh God, Joe. However, but I'm respecting the fact that he's an older individual, and he's probably forgotten more law than I'll ever even know in my damn life, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, man, he's my president right now, so I'm going to respect that. But yeah, he was catching heat everywhere, not just in our little thread. But he was all over the socials. Just the people were killing him on TV. They're making fun of him and shit. And that's what they do. I'm sure Saturday Night Live gonna have some fun with him tonight. They probably gonna cut up. That's how they do, man. So I'm just gonna say, let's man. But
They gonna fuck around and have him on. He's gonna be speaking. They just gonna cut to a commercial, and he's still gonna be like,
yeah, that's fucking.
but no. Look, man, we will. There's never ever gonna be a perfect president. Never.
Right.
So let this man be. Let this man be. You know, he getting everybody the shot and gave everybody $1,400.
Hey,
Let the man be.
Came through on both of his early rounds. He didn't came through on both.
No doubt.
Gonna do that to push it to 2,000 by adding the 1,400. And he also said, you know, what he say? He want was it 100 million vaccines in X amount of days or something.
100 days, 100 million in 100 days. Yeah,
he going
vaccines a day. And I'm telling you, dude, there are like vaccine spots out. This motherfucker's fucking traffic up 400 miles out here.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I took
it's nuts,
and it was nuts. They had a college out this way, and yeah,
man,
they own it. I mean, the guard is out there. They got, you know, the whole like processing line. You got your appointment. They ain't fucking around. Process, get your shit. Go to the
waiting
in
your car
a bit. Yeah,
get your shit and roll.
Hey, they own
crazy.
It, man.
Yeah, so
gotta get ahead of this thing.
Let Joe be.
Let Joe be, man. All right, man. Well, that's been CO and the Doctor for this week. Appreciate you. Sorry for the, like P said, sorry for the long hold. The traffic pattern was full for a couple months, but we're trying to be more consistent. We're just gonna bring you what we got. We're closer now, so I can't wait to actually get down there and shoot something live, or you come up
and I drive down there.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a whole other vibe since I done a couple podcasts where I'm actually in studio with people. That shit is fun.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a whole other experience, and we finally getting to do that. We're actually going into season 4. This shit is crazy to think about. That
right.
The end of this year, just 4 fucking years we've been doing this. But
crazy to think. So it's been a great journey, though. It's been a great journey, man. It's been something that's proven a lot, you know, about myself to me, you know, and I'm sure you've learned a lot about yourself doing this too. This shit can be intoxicating. It can be something that it kind of grabs you and just takes a hold, you know.
Look forward to it, man. Definitely look forward to it every week, man. So, you know, we're over our time, and we made a promise to y'all years ago that we was gonna stay around that hour mark. But hey, we had some issues, and we just got, you know, we kind of got to talking today, and we lost track of time. So we apologize. Thank you for everybody to stop by. We got hearts up there, we got thumbs up, we got laughy faces. You know, I think we're up, you know, a couple. I don't know. I looked at once, and it was like 15 people were watching. I appreciate all that. We had comments in the comment section, man. All that's great. So like always, you have your audio soon, and keep the conversation.
Our Twitter numbers are growing too.
Twitter number, boom! I forgot.
Yeah, man, we on Twitter now too, and maybe some of these 15 have been folks that have just connected on Twitter.
Yeah, man. Well, see on the Doctor slogan: "Let conversation influence you," and as well, you know, very educated, highly opinionated. That's kind of what we bring. And so I'm glad to be in that master's class. Got that on my name now. I'm not quite a doctor yet. I don't think I'm even gonna go that far.
Man, hey, you got initials after your name, though.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll take that.
You got initials after your name. That's all that matters.
That does.
Got them letters.
Yep.
Clyde, Oliver, comma, blah blah blah. And it's not Master Sergeant USAF. That ends. What you have now lasts forever.
That's true, man. Well, people. Till next time, appreciate you. See you on the Doctor. We out.
See ya. Peace.